Every wine student starts with facts. Grapes, regions, appellations, classifications, production methods, tasting vocabulary. The facts matter, they are the language of wine. But language is not the same thing as understanding. At the Wine School of Philadelphia, the National Wine School begins with those facts, then pushes students toward the better question. Why? Why does one vineyard taste different from another? Why does one vintage sing while another struggles? Keith Wallace is not a court stenographer for the wine industry. He is an irreverent guide through it. Warm, funny, skeptical, and willing to challenge the status quo when the old story stops explaining what is actually in the glass. Classic Keith take. Terroir is real. Most of what people call terroir is not. That is the difference between respecting tradition and letting tradition do all your thinking for you. That means questioning the comfortable myths. How much is soil? How much is climate? How much is tradition? How much is marketing? And how much do we only believe because the same line has been repeated for centuries? Keith teaches wine as a system. Science, history, markets, culture, psychology, and taste all moving at once. A bottle is never just a place name. It is a chain of choices, pressures, memories, and chemistry. Science does not make wine colder. It makes wine more fascinating. Fermentation, acidity, ripeness, oxygen, oak, phenolics, and time are not trivia. They are the machinery behind pleasure.
As a student of Keith Wallace put it, I used to memorize terms. Keith made me ask what caused the wine to taste that way.
The history matters too, because taste is not fixed. What one generation calls classic, another may call heavy. What one market rewards, another may reject. Wine is always carrying the past while being pushed by the present. If someone spends more time talking about the label than what is in the glass, you are in a marketing seminar, not a wine class. That line is funny because it is true, and because it gives students permission to trust observation over performance. So the classroom becomes a winery, a lab, a map room, a restaurant floor, and sometimes a courtroom for bad assumptions. Price, prestige, region, critics, labels, and romance all have to prove themselves against evidence. Wine scores are useful right up until you actually taste the wine. Expensive mistakes are often called collectibles. The point is not to mock expertise. The point is to make expertise answer to the glass.
As a National Wine School graduate put it, in service, understanding changed everything. I could explain value without hiding behind famous names.
The wine industry sells romance. Nature sells grapes. Keith's teaching lives in that tension. Enjoy the story, but know when the story is doing more work than the wine. The market of wine is part of wine. Shipping, labor, hospitality, restaurants, retail shelves, fashion, climate pressure, scarcity, social media and memory all help decide which bottles people notice and which bottles they miss. The greatest wine myth is that you need permission to enjoy wine. Most people do not need a sommelier. They need someone to tell them to stop overthinking it.
As another student put it, the facts did not go away, they started connecting.
A National Wine School graduate should not simply know more terms. They should ask better questions, taste with more confidence, challenge lazy explanations, recognize value, and keep learning long after class is over. Knowledge is important. Understanding is transformative. National Wine School. Do not just learn wine, understand wine. Disclaimer: this channel is not affiliated with National Wine School or the Wine School of Philadelphia.